this tutorial, I'll walk you through creating a dynamic cross-section with a fully custom design, allowing you to add a unique style to your architectural visualizations and technical breakdowns. And the best part is we'll achieve all of this entirely within the material editor without writing a single line of code or using complex blueprint mechanics. To get this effect working correctly, your material structure is key. Ideally, all the materials on your object should be material instances created from a single master material. We'll place our cutaway node logic into this master material, and the effect will automatically propagate to all of its instances. It's important to note, if your object uses several different master materials, you will need to add the cutaway logic to each of those master materials for the effect to work on the entire object. For those who want to integrate this effect into their projects immediately, the complete project files for this tutorial are available on my Patreon. You'll get powerful, pre-made material functions for both standard surfaces and realistic glass. Simply add the function to your master material, and you'll get the perfect result without having to recreate all of this complex logic. All you'll have to do is drag the function into your material and connect the inputs. Your support makes these videos possible, and I really appreciate it. Let's start by opening our master material. This effect will use three inputs: base color, emissive color and opacity mask. But the opacity mask pin is disabled by default. To fix this, we'll just head over to the details panel and switch the blend mode to masked, and just like that, the input is now active. Next, let's create the nodes for our cutaway. First, we'll build a simple setup to determine the cut coordinate in world space. Create an absolute world position node and connect it to the A input of a new dot node. For the B input, create a vector parameter. This parameter will define the axis along which the cut is performed. Set its default value to 0, 0, 1 by giving the B channel a value of 1. This means that by default the cut will happen along the z-axis. Later, you will also be able to use this parameter to perform cuts along the x and y axis. We're going to need this coordinate value multiple times, and to avoid cluttering the graph with wires, let's use a named route node. Create it from the dot products output and name it coordinate. Next, let's create the colored line that will highlight the object's cut edge. We'll be controlling this effect through the base color input. First, we'll need two scalar parameters. Name the first one border thickness. It will control the thickness of the cut line, set its default value to 1. The second parameter, cutoff height, will determine the height at which the cut occurs. I will set the default value to 200, which corresponds to a height of 2 meters in Unreal Engine. Next, create an add node. Connect cutoff height to the A input and border thickness to the B input. The result of this addition gives us the upper edge of our borderline. This defines the zone where our colored line will be drawn. It will exist between the cutoff height and this new calculated value. Great, now let's create the actual mask for our border. Create a smooth step node, which generates a nice soft gradient. To the min input, which defines where our gradient starts, connect cutoff height. To the max input, where it ends, connect the result from the add node, and for the value input, connect our coordinate. How it works? Think of smooth step as looking at each pixel's coordinate. If that coordinate falls between the floor, min, and the ceiling, max, it smoothly changes the value from 0 to 1. This gives us the perfect soft mask for our border. The smooth step node currently gives us a soft gradient, but for the border we need a sharper line. Create power node and connect the output from smooth step to the base input. For the exponent input, use a high value, for example 10. The higher this number, the thinner and sharper the final line will be. Now let's define the color for our cut border line and blend it with our base texture. First, create a vector parameter and name it border color. Set a default color for it. Next, to layer this line on top of our wall texture, we'll use a linear interpolate node. For the A input, plug in your main base color logic, your texture. For the B input, plug in our new border color parameter. This is the line color. For the alpha input, connect the output from the power node we created earlier. Finally, connect the result from the lerp node to the base color input of the main material. Now, by changing the cutoff height parameter in the material instance, we can see the effect in action. Our object is now cleanly divided by the colored line at the specified height. Let's move on to creating the cutaway effect itself. However, we are not going for a simple hard-edged cut. Instead, we'll create a soft animated dissolve at the cut boundary, just as you can see in this example. Now let's build the logic for the opacity mask input, which will create the animated edge effect. First, create a texture sample node and assign a standard noise texture to it, like T-Cloud P from the engine content. To make this texture move, we'll need a panner. Create one and set its speed to 0.1. To tell the panner which coordinates to scroll, create a texture coordinate node and plug it into the coordinate input on the panner. Finally, connect the output of the panner to the UVS input of your texture sample. This chain will create the effect of a constantly moving texture. Next, we'll add a control for the intensity of our noise. To do this, get our channel from texture sample and create a multiply node with a scalar parameter named noise strength. Set default value to 8. This parameter will let us control how jagged or wavy the animated edge of the cut appears. Create an add node. Connect your coordinate reroute node to the A input and plug the output from the multiply node into the B input. Next, we need to define the fade zone for our effect. Create another add node. To set the upper boundary, connect cutoff height parameter to the A input. Then create a new scalar parameter, name it fade distance and connect it to the B input. This fade distance parameter will control the size of the soft edge. With a smooth step, we'll generate the final dissolve gradient. For the value input, which is the coordinate we are testing, connect the output of our first add node. For the max input, where the fade ends, connect the output of our second add node. For the min input, where the fade begins, connect the cutoff height parameter. The smooth step node now takes our animated wavy coordinate and compares it to the cutaway range. The result is a smoothly changing 0 to 1 gradient that precisely follows the motion of the noise. Add one minus node. Finally, let's create the dither effect by comparing our gradient to a screen space noise pattern. Create an if node, connect the inverted gradient, the output from 1- to the A input. Create a dither temporal AA node and connect it to the B input. This is our noise pattern. Connect a constant with a value of 1.0 to the A greater than B input. Connect a constant with a value of 0.0 to the A less than or equal to B inputs. Connect if output to opacity mask of your material. Let's save the material and check our result. The dissolve effect is now working almost perfectly. There's just one final detail to add. Let's make our animated dissolving edge glow and add a parameter to choose its color. The next step is to create the logic for the glow. Let's go back to the material editor and build the node chain for the emissive color input. First, we need a color. Create a vector parameter, call it cutGlowColor, and pick something vibrant. Now for the brightness, create a scalar parameter, glowPower, and let's crank it up to a high value like 500 to get a strong effect. Okay, let's mix them together. Multiply the cutGlow color by the glowPower. We'll use our gradient from smooth step as a mask. Create another multiply node, plug our bright color into A and the gradient into B. And the final step, take the output and plug it right into the emissive color input. Go ahead and save and check the result. Everything works great, but you'll quickly run into a problem. If you have a wall, a floor and a roof, You have to open each material instance and change the cutoff height one by one to make them line up. That's slow and inconvenient. There's a much better, more professional way to do this, using a material parameter collection. In the content browser, create a new material parameter collection and name it MPC Cut Height Control. Open this file. Inside we need to create the parameter itself. Click the plus next to scalar parameters to add a new scalar parameter and name it cut height. For the default value, set the maximum height of your structure if you want the cut to start from the top. In my case, that's 800 units. Save file. Final step. Let's connect our newly created material parameter collection to the master material. It will replace the local cutoff height parameter we were using before. First, find and delete the old scalar parameter for cutoff height. Then, create a collection parameter node. In its details, select our MPC cut height control asset and make sure the parameter name exactly matches the one we created inside it, cut height. Now connect the output of this new node everywhere the old parameter was connected. Achieving a perfect cutaway on glass while preserving its refraction requires a different material structure. If you want to skip the lengthy setup and get the final result instantly, I've made this project's complete scene available on my Patreon. It includes two optimized material functions, one for opaque surfaces and one for glass, that you can immediately integrate into your own projects. Thank you for your support. And now for the final payoff. Because we are using a material parameter collection, we can control the cut height for all materials in the scene simultaneously, either from a blueprint or from a level sequence to create an animation. Open your level sequence, click the plus track button, find material parameter collection and select our MPC cut height control asset. On the new track, click plus parameter and add our cut height parameter. You will now see a timeline for cut height. You can add keyframes and animate this value over time to create a spectacular cutaway animation that works across your entire scene. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear from you. What topic should we tackle in the next video? Leave your ideas and suggestions in the comments below.